Hi, Gig. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you too, Jose. Hey, congratulations on your new film, Young
Hey,
Werther.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, so tell us, how you wanted to adapt this from the book into a modern day film, in its own way.
Yeah, I mean, the book is something that resonated with me when I first read it in college. I wasn't aware of it before then, and then years later, I took a copy down off my shelf and read it again, and I'd had some more romantic experiences and loves that had gone awry in the interceding years, and yeah, it just kind of like hit me a little differently. And I was like, why has this not been adapted into a major English language film? It has these great characters, these great themes, and it just felt like the kind of story and the kind of relationships that were as relevant in 1774 when it was first published as they are today.
Now, I might have a different understanding of. I wasn't sure if the book was actually like a romantic comedy as if it was the portrayed in the film because for some the stuff that I read about this book it was basically like the themes of a mental illness and obsession, and then when I watched your film and I was like
Just like
going,
love.
yeah, I guess it is, but is that the interpretation that you actually got, or when you read the book, it was about romanticism?
Yeah, I mean the book is this a seminal work in romantic literature. It's I think one of the things that I really responded to with it when I first read it and then read it again was just Werther's passion. Like he's this melancholic, depressed, anxious person, but he's also full of euphoria and joy and giddiness, and he's so gregarious. And that to me have all the markings of yes, you can look at it as mental illness, or you can look at it as being caught up in those complicated feelings of when someone impacts your life in such a meaningful way, whether that's a romantic partner or a friend like Albert, or someone who changes the way that you see the world. And I think what makes the book live on is just the timelessness of these ideas that 250 years ago people were just as confused and in their feelings and wanting to sort out what other people were feeling about them as they are now. Like those are things I don't think ever really go away. And Yeah, I don't know. It was so much fun to sort of access a version of the character that um, is so funny and alive and so he's got to be an interesting enough person and a person who's so full of life and enthusiasm that it would make someone as serious and intelligent as Charlotte consider blowing up her entire life or be swept off her feet a little bit by the possibility of this rogue coming in and becoming someone important to her.
I'm always fascinated on how, like a filmmaker like yourself, adapt, these novels centuries ago. It's sort of like when we expect someone to adapt like Pride and Prejudice or something, we expect the dialogue to be very similar and doing similar actions. Can you address on how, taking a novel like this that was also written, you know, in a similar time period and creating a new dialogue that would still go with the same themes of today?
Yeah, I think like dialogue for me as a writer is, and I'm sure 9 out of 10 writers would say this, that it's just some of the most fun you can have when you're sitting down to write a screenplay. You have to have the narrative spine and you have to have the characters there, um and that's really what I took from the book. It was those elements and the themes that we've been talking about. And then it was, when it came to updating how they speak and how they live, I wanted them to feel, like they're set, like the story is set in present day, but that it's also timeless. Like I wanted it to feel old-fashioned and contemporary. And I wanted the exchanges to feel like they're from a, like Howard Hawks film or like a His Girl Friday sort of rapid fire. Oh, look at this. Who's this adorable creature?
Yeah, right. She just tries to Zoom bomb a lot. But anyways.
I get it. My Gloria is downstairs and yeah, not allowed in for the interviews. Sorry. Yeah, I wanted the dialogue to have its own sort of rhythm and meter and cadence and just have that really fun rat-tat-tat snappy um quality that, Allison always described it as someone speaking as if they're having their best, wittiest day after their 10th cup of coffee, like just but I feel like that's, when you really connect with somebody, um, conversation is effortless and it flows and you're making each other laugh, at least that's I guess my view of connection and chemistry. It's can you entertain the other person? Are you entertained by the person that you're interested in? Do they lift you up and do you feel like you've fallen into your own little world together? And I thought that was yeah, the strongest way to sort of bring them into today.
So true, so true. Especially, the character you crafted with this version of Werther, he's so whimsical, so likable in his own way that you want to cheer him on, but 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 it is in his own way, the obstacles that he put himself through. But tell us how you landed with Douglas Booth and how he was perfect for the role in this character.
Yeah, I mean, Doug is he's incredible. I first really was the first time I really remember being like, whoa, who is this? Was seeing him in the Riot Club years ago. He really stood out in that cast for me. And I've seen him in so many things over the years, and just during the casting process, when we got to speaking, it was clear right away that he just understood the character so well, and he had that, he's very classically handsome, and he's got that like that British ability with language. I feel like they're such a literate society, and they have that stage ability, that training. British actors are just some of the very best. And he had that wit and that winsomeness and that boyishness too. That like it's just all these things together. I keep describing him as Cary Grant, like just like someone who can find the emotional depth of a character and play it as straight drama and really make you feel for him in a human way. But then he just so lightly and effortlessly traverses over into comedy and can just make these beautiful scenes where you're smiling and laughing, just feeling his charm. And I think that's so key, as you said, for a character who is, a bit morally dubious, like his intentions are uh, selfishly pure, but his intentions very much have the potential to upset this very, not imperfect, but stable family life that Charlotte has.
So how as a filmmaker, how do you direct where one actor who tends to, portray a lot of silly antics, and the other actors, there's a little bit of comedy, but they're much more serious characters in this story. I do feel like you captured the essence of, the 18th and 19th century, like Emma and all this kind of stuff into a film like this with different type of characters.
Yeah, from the beginning, we all wanted the film to feel, it's a heightened world, but we wanted it to still feel like a bit grounded, like it's reality, but it's just slightly askew, like there's like one foot off the ground, and Werther very much is that person who like, just we're seeing a lot of the exchanges and the ways of moving through the world like through his eyes, and it's not rose-colored glasses exactly, but it is that like slightly like impish, out of time, yeah, sort of being of pure effervescence, and yeah, the other characters in the world are meant to ground the film a little more squarely. I think many of them don't quite know what to make of him. Everyone's enamored of him in their own ways, whether it's as a friend or a romantic, possible romantic partner or a rival or someone to be wary of, but he's and so much of this is just Doug's portrayal. Like he's someone that makes other people feel good. He's interested in other people. He really engages with people. He meets a stranger and he'll, be playing a game with their kids moments later. He's someone who uh yeah, I feel like I'm straying a little bit from the original question, but yeah, he's his place in the world is that little sip of champagne where everyone else is maybe sort of grimly drinking their water to hydrate.
Absolutely. And one of the things I do want to address is I was wondering on how you wanted to end this film, because from my understand the book ending is a whole lot different from your movie ending. Tell us the process on how you came to the decision on how to you wanted to end this film.
Yeah, the ending of the novel is famous and it's so bleak, and in the writing of the novel it's very abrupt. Like it just ends and then there's a few more words from a previously unheard from narrator who's just like, yep, that's the end basically. Which works. It's very, very strong in print, but didn't really lend itself to the pacing and the flow and the spirit of the film that we were making. Um, it's still there's still an element of tragedy to our ending. It's just uh, in a way that feels truer to the character and this world and to the feeling. Like I think part of the modernization of the book is not not seeing it not seeing Charlotte and Werther's relationship as this final act and this final thing in both their lives. But something we talked about was having the film feel as if it was a chapter in the great novel of their lives, and a chapter that's probably in the first third of that book. And when they're old and wizened, when they're in their late 80s and 90s, they'll look back on this one magical summer and this person who affected them so greatly. And it'll stay with them in this place that will always remain optimistic and heartening and positive, even though there's definitely like just a tinge of sadness and melancholy. Yeah.
Well, for the record, I love your ending because I was going,
Ah.
gosh, I hope he doesn't adopt the bleak ending.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Well, Jose, thank you very much for speaking to us about Young Werther. You did an excellent job.
Oh my
It's a delightful to I watched it twice actually. So,
No, really? Amazing. I love that. My mom hasn't even seen it twice yet. She got to see it at TIFF and she's keeps saying like, "When can I see it again?" I'm like, "Mom, I don't even have a copy of it. I don't know. We got to ask the producers. I got to sort that out."
well, there you go. Now
Yeah.
you're gonna have to sit down and watch it with your mom for the second.
I
I
mean, the,
I
the
know you
perfect viewing
probably
partner.
I know you probably sat through the editing process. So you probably watched it 800 times, but
I have seen the movie about it. That's exactly right. That's the exact number.
anyways, thank you very much, Jose.
That's
Hopefully
good.
we get to do this again. Appreciate this.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a great day.